All right, Eleanor. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I just wanted to ask you about your experiences as a professional dancer and some of the stories from when you were dancing in New York or even before that, because you told me some neat stuff.
Let's see. I was 16 and I graduated when I was 16, which was fortunate because then I was already in the ballet company.
Oh, wow.
And remember, I came from Philadelphia.
Right.
And Philadelphia wasn't connected, or any of the big cities, with the turnpikes and things that there are now. Mm-hmm. And so my first trip with the ballet company was to Hollywood with a chartered Greyhound bus. Wow. And that's on these just ordinary roads. I remember so well in New Mexico. I think it's the Raton Pass that's there. The bus was so long that it had to turn and back up and turn. This is with looking down, deep, scary. I scare easily anyway.
Wow.
But that was really a thrilling thing to go. We were associated with the opera company. That's why we went. And we did our ballet, and we also did the dancing for Aida.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you were 16 when you took that trip?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I worked at night, and you have to have your mom or someone go with you to sign if you work past 8 o'clock at night when you're under 18.
Wow.
So she was glad when I got to be 18 and to go.
I bet.
Yeah, and then that same ballet company was the ballet for the Chicago Opera. And so then that fall we went to Chicago, and that was, a kind of a fun thing for, you could go and watch any operas that you wanted to.
Wow.
Because every opera doesn't have a ballet in it or a dance in it. Carmen and Aida are the ones that have the biggest, I think.
Right.
There's one called Daughters of the Regiment where the dancers are little drummers. Different.
That sounds fun.
It's a fun thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you start dancing in New York?
What did it?
When did you start dancing in New York?
In New York?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the World's Fair of 1940, that would have been. Because the ballet company was the Philadelphia Ballet Company. And we did a lot of, trips. Colleges often have performers come to entertain. There's a whole group of colleges that are on this list that use, I know they had Glenn Miller, and when Wes went to Penn State, they had Glenn Miller and his band go there, and things like that are fun.
Oh, that's great.
And so we did that for a while. I think they're comfortable here.
Oh, okay. I can push this closer.
Yeah.
Is that better?
And then I know what happened. The war came along, and I'll just say whatever I want to say. Our ballet company was an American company, a new company, young people, and they had young male dancers, but they weren't the kind that Russia had. That we had ex-football players and ex-prize fighters and, powerful men. They weren't wonderful ballet dancers, but that wasn't the point of using them. They were good support for the girls. So as soon as the war came along, they were A1 right away. And that wiped out the ballet company.
Oh my goodness.
So then we all went over to New York, the Philadelphia girls. And most of the ballet girls got in the ballet at Radio City. But I was too tall for the ballet.
Really?
And so I took about 6 tap lessons, learned a little dance, auditioned for the Rockettes, because I wanted to work where they worked.
Right.
And got in, but I did not know tap by any means. And it counts so differently from ballet. It just confuses me. I wasn't very good at it, but then I was learning as I went along. And then I decided to go back to Philadelphia and work as a club date act. And so it's not nightclubs, but private clubs, there's lots of those.
Right. The private parties you were telling me.
Yeah. Maybe the fire department has a banquet, or some special thing, much nicer than working in a club. And I did that for years and years, but at the same time I was teaching ballet at a school in Philadelphia, which Dawn's mom found a book on dance, and here's this woman writing about how she used to go to summer classes at the school in Philadelphia, J- School, which we thought was really entertaining because I was the one taught the ballet at that school.
Oh, how funny.
And I called her on the phone since, and she remembered it.
Was it kind of like a variety show?
For what?
For the club dates, were they kind of like a variety show?
Well, there were several great big, buildings in Philadelphia that all they did were cater to club dates. They weren't nightclubs, and then you get on that circuit that put your name in, and I used to do like 2 numbers. Usually it was 1 show, but if it was something where there were 2 shows, then you did 2 numbers in each half of the show, yeah. And usually, I was more of a, they called me they had a name for it, which wasn't true at all. Exotic dancer, as I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't very exotic. Well, I have one number that was to music in a Persian market,
Okay.
and it was a Oriental number, with bare feet and finger cymbals, and
Wow.
it was a fun number. Bra, the separate bra and the big skirt. Those skirts, they're called nautch skirts. That's the name of them that the Oriental wear. They have the yardage of a football field in their
Wow.
skirt because they pleat. It's real thin. They pleat that, and then they pleat that, and then they pleat that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they're quite
sounds
heavy,
great.
really.
I remember you told me a story about how sometimes you were dropped off really far from the house.
Yeah.
And you said you had to carry your suitcases to the house.
I know. For a long time when I worked, I took the streetcar or the bus, and you work a lot of private clubs, country clubs and stuff. Well, even if the streetcar stops at their corner, you'd still have to walk that long lane. They're always the same with trees in the long lane up to the clubhouse. But usually then someone that worked with you would take you home. But then I finally decided, I had to pay black market to get a car at that time. But I was able to get a car.
Oh, good.
Because it's hard going out at night with streetcars. It wasn't dangerous like maybe it is now, but you're still out late at night.
Sure.
Usually people that go to work at an odd hour are the ones that you'd find on the streets at that time of night. Just working men, But it was much better to have a car because you have your costumes, 1 suitcase for 1 show, 2 suitcases for 2 shows.
Wow. It's a lot to bring with you. And you said you took the train too from Philadelphia to New York?
When I was rehearsing, yeah, because I would go to New York and rehearse in the afternoon to go to Europe. And what I would do when I left home, I took the streetcar to the train station, then I would put my suitcase with my costumes in it in one of the lockers, then go to New York and rehearse, then come back from New York and get my suitcase back out of the locker and go to do the club date.
Wow.
It was, I think, one of the funnest parts of my life at that time.
Really? What year was that? Or what years did you do that?
I was, I was about 22.
Okay. So you were young and had energy.
Yeah.
So what years did you perform with the Rockettes then? How many years?
I worked 1 summer with them because they hire extra girls for letting their girls go on longer vacations. They have a system of you work 4 weeks and get a week off, then you work 3 weeks and get a week off.
Oh.
That comes out to the amount of days you'd get off if you were going Monday to Friday. That
Oh,
would be,
okay.
you know. In 7 weeks, you've gotten 14 days off.
Oh, wow.
So that would be your,
weekends.
yeah.
Okay.
And, well, to me it wasn't fun because I was too worried about making a mistake. And the girls, I suppose, that have been there longer and that were expert tap dancers probably, they still worried about, because they had someone sit out front, someone on each side of stage, and someone in the upstairs that had paper and pencil, and they were marking down any little mistake, you know.
Wow.
That makes you kind of nervous the whole time.
Oh, I bet. I'd be nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Someone was taking notes on my singing the whole time.
Otherwise, you could say it would have been fun because there were 36 dancers, 10 always on vacation, so they really had 46 dancers. And they had a glee club of 36 men. And so a lot of times I can remember making your entrance on the arm of a glee club man. And one number we were in swings, and the ceiling's so high there that those swings were, long poles of flowers, and each girl had a glee club man pushing her on the swing up in time with the music, And every Thursdays when they put a girl on vacation and a new girl in that came back from vacation.
Oh, okay.
But you didn't always go back to the same place that you left from.
Right.
So you'll always rehearse Thursday morning for that. That wasn't a lot of trouble, but when you have 36 girls, and there was, what did I say, I've forgotten how much, 5 inches difference from the center to the end.
Oh, okay. Because they went taller and
Because
shorter.
if you were a center girl and you were the same height as the end, it would look like a dip down.
Right.
That's why when you arrange things, you always put your tall things in the center and your small things, be it candles or whatever.
Right.
You always build toward the center.
So how tall were the center girls usually?
5'7", I was center.
Okay.
Now, when I went back recently, some of them are as tall as 6 feet now.
Oh, yeah. I know some girls who were
Yeah,
easily 6 feet or taller.
much taller than that at that time.
So how short were the shortest girls?
The shortest was 5'2", I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the ballet was, I think the tallest at ballet was 5'5",
Wow, that surprises me.
and that were shorter than the other girls.
I understand that.
Well, it's fun to go on the road, especially when you're young, My sister and I went in this one show, and we were gone for 1 year. I know we left Philadelphia at Christmas time, and we got back the next year at Christmas time.
Wow, where did you go?
So, the whole United States.
Wow.
It was in big theaters in each of the big cities. I know our mother must have missed us, both of us going at the same time.
And what year was that? Do you think?
43.
43. Wow. That sounds like such an adventure.
Yeah.
All right, well, Eleanor, thank you
All
so
right,
much.
come back again.
All right, if you want to wave to the camera.
Wait,
Thank you, Eleanor,
Bye-bye.
for sharing your story.